this might be the best made faith-based film ever.
Well, I mean, let's not get crazy.
Benoit Blanc is back and more fabulous than ever in Wake Up Dead Man. This is the third film in the Knives Out series from writer-director Rian Johnson. This is a non-spoiler review because, as with the first two, knowing as little as possible going in is part of the great joy.
Of course.
Watching it all unfold and the twists and the turns and the characters you think you've got figured out, we don't want to ruin any of that for you. So if you saw Knives Out and you saw Glass Onion and you're curious about Wake Up Dead Man, we will tell you about it. So come subscribe and hang out with us. Alonso, what happens here?
This is something you and I have not experienced. A perfectly impossible crime.
A lot of the narration is provided by Josh O'Connor because Josh O'Connor, it's always Josh O'Connor lately. He plays Father Judd, a young Catholic priest who has been assigned to a parish after punching out a deacon. And that parish is run under the iron fist of the Monsignor, played by Josh Brolin. And while he's there, Father Judd meets, a cast of potentially suspicious characters, including longtime caretaker Martha, played by Glenn Close, Samson, the groundskeeper, played by Thomas Hayden Church, and various parishioners played by the likes of Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington, Andrew Scott, and Cailee Spaeny. And then, of course, someone dies. And the whole thing becomes about who done it and why done it and how done it and what exactly was done. Enter Benoit Blanc, and that's all we're going to tell you.
Yes, the fantastic Daniel Craig, as always.
Yes.
He seems to have more and more fun with this with each time he plays this role. I mean, looking back, like he heightened the kind of assez, foghorn leghorn of his accent for Glass Onion for reasons that became clear. And here, there is a more of a sort of a tossed off quality to him. He seems more comfortable in his fashionable tailored suits than ever. And his hair is like kind of floppy. Like he seems kind of carefree for someone whose mind is so sharp, who is constantly noticing everything. He seems more at ease with himself here than he has in the previous one.
Is he just very happy with Hugh Grant, or did they break up? We don't know.
Oh, good question. So this feels very different to me from the previous two. I mean, it has, that same kind of structure, the same murder mystery that he likes to play with, Rian Johnson, but this feels different to me tonally. This feels like it's aiming for something more profound. And Glass Onion, in retrospect, the second one in the series, feels shinier and more disposable, but more fun. It's funny, looking back, I feel differently about all of these now with this new perspective of this third one. They're all kind of shuffled in my mind. I saw Knives Out. I loved it. I saw Glass Onion. I liked it a lot, but didn't think it was as good as Knives Out. Now I feel better about Glass Onion and don't like this one as well. This might be my least favorite of the three, but I like what it's going for in terms of having a totally different texture and tone. It feels like gothic 70s horror a lot of the times in terms of just like the pushes and like the natural setting in the forest around the church. Steve Yedlin, who is Rian Johnson's constant cinematographer, does beautiful things with the lighting through the stained glass windows in the church. So it's a gorgeous film in a darker way, in a sadder way, and it's grappling with heavier things than the previous two Knives Out movies have. And Josh O'Connor is great in it because he's totally earnest. Like, this might be the best made faith-based film ever.
Well, I mean, let's not get crazy, but yes.
No, but it's a faith-based film. It's faith-affirming.
Oh, no question.
Yeah.
I think at least it grapples with those issues and talks about them, and it allows you to still come to your own conclusions, and it's not selling you anything. I mean, best faith-based movie ever made. Dave White would like to speak up for O Hussard Balthazar, but anyway, yes, I do think that it does take those issues on in a way that most movies that call themselves faith-based would never. And I think that it allows for sort of both sides to kind of say their piece. I think all of these films ultimately are about powerful people and control. And the first two movies were about sort of wealthy people exploiting other people around them and sort of taking from them and then allowing them to take the fall when things got difficult. And this one, there is the idea of wealth floating around that no one quite knows what to do with, but it's more about spiritual and intellectual control. And so you have, Brolin's Monsignor is running this parish very firmly and very sort of like very doctrinaire in a lot of ways. And the people who are down for it are totally like signed up, but at the same time are being manipulated and are being like kind of used, which I think is a through line that you see throughout all three films. But yeah, the fact that this is more about people using religion to control other people rather than using wealth to control other people gives it an added element. I'd say it's in the middle. I like Glass Onion the best.
Okay.
And I think Knives Out didn't, I like it's a movie I like. I didn't love it when it first came out. And I think he has a firmer grasp of what he wants to do with these films as it goes along. In any event, they're all interesting. They're all really entertaining whodunits, and they provide meaty sort of, like, if they're not suspects, they sure are suspicious roles for famous people to kind of sink their teeth into. Because Knives Out we can call autumn, right? With all the sweaters, and Glass Onion was very summery. This one is very spring. Like, there's a lot. The plot kind of revolves around the fact that Easter is imminent. Mm-hmm. So
is there a fourth one? Yeah, is there a winter one?
Yeah. The Tales of the Four Seasons from Rian Johnson. Yeah, so, I think in terms of just on a pure genre level of like, am I engaged with this mystery? Do I think I can figure it out? Do I want to see how this all plays out? Absolutely riveting. He's very good at writing that stuff. On top of that, I think, the character stuff absolutely works. And Benoit Blanc as a firm atheist coming up against all of these people who have very strong ideas about their faith and about, how they think the universe works, I think creates interesting clashes in a way that a lot of modern movies would shy away from. They would make one side absolutely right and the other side stupid, and I think in this case, everybody comes away with, well, I mean, I see where you're coming from, at least,
He gives this incredible monologue when he first comes to the church that people clapped in my theater. I got to go to the premiere last night and people were clapping. It's a beautifully written piece of acting here. And he just delivers it like perfectly. And yet, he comes in, and as is the case with so many faith-based movies, like someone is the doubter. Someone who doesn't believe, and through, interacting with these characters and experiencing events that are unexplainable, it forces them to reevaluate how they feel about religion. And so those elements exist here in what is, A-list director, A-list star kind of film for Netflix. And so that is surprising to me. I do think it ultimately comes down in one place over another. And a lot of that has to do with Josh O'Connor and the sort of the high wire act of his performance and the way the character is written, because he is so earnest and so sincere. And yet he is not pious in a false or judgy way. He's a human being, and he has made mistakes. He has sinned. He is a complicated guy with a past, and that makes him relate to other people in a more earnestly humane way. And I think there's great sincerity in the writing of that character and also in the performance of it. And he makes him just so enormously compelling. As far as the supporting characters, these feel like the least well-written ever of any Knives Out movie, as far as all of the players, all of the suspects. Cailee Spaeny is kind of one note. Andrew Scott's one note is entertaining. There's really not a whole lot to Jeremy Renner at all. So in that regard, I feel like it's the weakest of them. But then Brolin gets to give this very big and showy performance, And
I think Daryl McCormack gets a subtle degree of villainy that doesn't like announce itself, but by the end of the movie, you're like, oh God, you are the fucking worst, aren't you?
Yeah, he's Leo Grand. Good luck to you, Leo Grand.
Oh, that's what he's from. Okay, yeah.
And he's an anniversary too, which just came out recently. And Kerry Washington is very good and has a couple of great zingers in this too, as this small town lawyer. So yeah, it's a really, really good cast. And it's really, really well made. It's just my least favorite of the three of a great series of films.
Right. Well, I think that's the thing where directors take you to a place where you have their standards get higher and you're expecting more from them because of what they've done. It's like we just had this conversation about Jay Kelly, and I'm like, I mean, it's good, but coming off of some recent Baumbach movies, it's, mid-tier, and so this might not be the best of the Knives Out movies, but the Knives Out movies on the whole tend to be provocative and entertaining and intelligent. And so, I think this is that, even if it doesn't quite hit the marks of some of the other ones.
Yep. Okay. So what's your number then on Wake Up Dead Man?
I'll say a 7.8. I think it's solidly entertaining. I'm glad I saw it. Would watch again.
Yeah, I'm saying 7. It's in theaters November 26th. So if you can see it in the theater, it's going to be there for a couple of weeks before it begins streaming on Netflix on December 12th, which is probably where most people will end up seeing it. But if you can't see it in the theater, there's all that incredible craft. So go and enjoy it.